What if everything we thought we knew about the serpent in the Garden of Eden is wrong? Imagine this. For centuries, we've been taught to see the serpent in Genesis as the epitome of evil, the villain who leads humanity into sin. But what if we've been looking at the story all wrong? What if there's more to the serpent than we ever realized? What if, buried deep within the Hebrew text, there's a message that challenges everything we thought we knew about good, evil, and divine wisdom? In today's video, we're going to take a deeper dive into the serpent's role in the Garden of Eden, exploring what its presence really means. We'll unpack the cultural, historical, and linguistic context of the story, looking at what the ancient Hebrews really intended when they wrote the narrative. This isn't just another retelling of the fall. This is a journey into the hidden layers of meaning that may have been overlooked for centuries. Let's challenge the traditional views and explore the serpent's true significance, one that may change the way you think about this ancient story. To understand the serpent's role in Genesis, we must step into the world of the ancient Hebrews and their neighbors. In the ancient Near East, the cultures surrounding Israel were rich in mythology, symbolism, and divine narratives. These myths were not just stories. They were a way for people to make sense of their world, their gods, and their own existence. In Mesopotamian civilizations like the Sumerians and Babylonians, serpents were often viewed as symbols of wisdom, fertility, and even divine protection. The ancient god Ea in Babylonian mythology, who was associated with wisdom and water, is frequently depicted with serpentine forms. Similarly, the ancient Egyptians worshipped the serpent as a powerful symbol of life and death, most notably represented by the goddess Wadjet, the cobra goddess who protected the pharaoh. But let's take a closer look at the Hebrew word for serpent, nahash. Nahash. This word doesn't just mean serpent. It also has the root meaning of to hiss or whisper. So the serpent is not just a physical creature, but a being capable of speech, persuasion, and influence. This opens up a whole new layer of meaning. The serpent doesn't merely slither into the garden, it speaks. It whispers into Eve's ear, leading her to question God's command. For centuries, Christian tradition has overwhelmingly connected the serpent in Genesis to Satan, viewing it as the embodiment of pure evil. In art, literature, and preaching, the serpent has become synonymous with the devil. But is that the message Genesis is trying to convey? Let's read this verse carefully. It doesn't say the serpent is Satan. Instead, it tells us that the serpent is more cunning or crafty than any other creature. This word, arum, doesn't inherently carry a moral judgment. It refers to cleverness or shrewdness. In fact, the same word is used in other parts of the Old Testament to describe people who are wise or prudent. So, the serpent is portrayed not as a pure villain, but as an agent of shrewdness, someone or something that challenges the status quo. This brings us to the pivotal moment. The serpent doesn't simply tempt Eve to sin, it engages her in a dialogue. Did God really say? The serpent plants a seed of doubt, causing Eve to reconsider God's command. It's an invitation to question, to explore, and to make a choice. The serpent here is not just a villain, it's an intermediary between innocence and knowledge, between ignorance and wisdom. Could it be that the serpent is playing the role of a catalyst, pushing humanity towards self-awareness and moral responsibility? Now, let's focus on the key symbolism in this story. The serpent is closely tied to the tree of knowledge. But let's take a moment to reconsider what this tree really represents. We've always been told the tree is the source of humanity's fall. But is it possible that the fruit symbolizes something more than sin? Could it represent knowledge itself? Knowledge that was always meant to be out of humanity's reach? The fruit from this tree represents knowledge, yes, but it's also tied to the human condition. The tension between innocence and understanding. The serpent's offer to Eve is essentially an invitation to explore deeper truths, to gain wisdom, and to make decisions about right and wrong. But knowledge comes at a cost. It awakens the human capacity for both good and evil. Is this knowledge truly evil, or is it a necessary step in humanity's evolution? The serpent may not just be tempting Eve, it's showing her a new way of seeing the world. It's urging humanity to move beyond the garden's innocence and embrace the complexity of moral choice. The serpent, in this sense, becomes a symbol not just of temptation, but of human awakening to the challenges, responsibilities, and consequences of wisdom. Interestingly, the serpent motif appears in many other ancient cultures, and it often represents wisdom, transformation, and the divine. In Mesopotamian and Egyptian myths, serpents were seen as divine protectors or mediators between humans and gods. In the Greek myth of Asclepius, the god of healing, serpents were sacred and symbolized renewal and regeneration. These ancient beliefs show us that the serpent was not merely an embodiment of evil in the ancient world. It was a symbol of transformation, healing, and access to deeper knowledge. Is it possible that the serpent in Genesis represents something more in line with these themes? A transformative force that brings humanity into a new phase of existence, even if that phase is fraught with challenges and consequences? Let's examine Eve's role more closely. In many traditional interpretations, she's seen as weak, deceived by the serpent. But what if Eve's decision wasn't just a fall into sin, but a brave act of self-determination? By choosing to eat the fruit, Eve takes the first step into the unknown, into a world where humans must confront the complexities of life, including knowledge, freedom, and responsibility. Eve's choice could be seen not as a failure, but as the first moment of human agency. She isn't simply tricked, she engages with the serpent's challenge. The fruit, then, becomes a symbol of humanity's need for wisdom and its inevitable confrontation with the consequences of knowing too much. Does Eve represent the courage to seek truth, even at a cost? What do you think? Was the serpent truly evil, or was it a misunderstood symbol of knowledge? Was Eve's choice a tragic fall, or the first act of true human agency? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share your interpretation of the serpent in Genesis. Do you see it as a bringer of wisdom or as an agent of corruption? If you found this exploration into the serpent in Genesis fascinating, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into ancient texts, hidden meanings, and the complex themes in the Bible. In the next video, we'll continue to peel back the layers of other familiar Bible stories, challenging what we think we know. Join us on this journey of discovery. Remember, sometimes, to understand the light, we must first explore the shadows. See you next time.